So as we're watching America descend into madness, these are the questions I ask myself. I want to start with what it means to obstruct or impede federal law officers. Let's start with this clip that has made the rounds. It's Alex Preddy kicking the shit out of an ICE vehicle, giving them the double middle finger.
This is a moment the news movement filmed on January 13th in Minneapolis, showing a man who appears to be Alex Preddy interacting with federal immigration agents 11 days before Border Patrol shot and killed him. Our footage was analyzed by the BBC, whose facial recognition technology confirmed his identity to a 97% degree of accuracy. They continued to hold the man down before they retreat and he walks away.
Okay.
The man in our footage is wearing a similar outfit to what Preddy was wearing on the day he was killed. What appears to be a gun is also visible above his waistband.
Now, listen, I understand the First Amendment and the right to peacefully protest. I understand the Second Amendment, and he did have a concealed carry license. I get all of that. What I've been struggling with for a year, watching all of this chaos unfold, is the fact that people are allowed to spit on law enforcement, damage their vehicles, throw cinder blocks at them, essentially threaten their lives, die, Nazi, fuck you. You've seen in the Signal chats, people talking about ways to hurt them. There's one chat that I just went into. It's like, okay, guys, this ICE agent isn't wearing a mask. Internet, do what you do. Okay, how are we here? Because what this looks like to me is, I would have zero problem seeing Alex Preddy in jail with a hefty fine. I'm not happy with him being dead. And I'm just trying to understand why it was allowed to get that far. That's question number one. Why in the fuck are they allowed to do this to begin with? Because it's hitting a fever pitch, clearly.
Okay, so lots to unpack there. So, Jillian, it seems to me that after this video that the BBC and others have since unearthed, after this incident happened, Alex Preddy probably should have been in jail.
Right.
Because, I mean, this is obviously not okay. This is obviously a violation of the law. You very clearly see in the video there that the car is damaged. I mean, the bumper is like coming off there. You can't do that. I mean, at some point, Jillian, the line is breached from First Amendment protected speech to whatever this is. I mean, the line is somewhere between holding your dumb Soros from the sign saying, like, go away, ICE. You can do that. Stay on the sidewalk, chant whatever kind of, vile bullshit you want to chant there. That's fine. That's more or less, there are technically some very minor exceptions, but 99% of the time, that is your First Amendment right. That's fine. What you can't do is start spitting and throwing and assaulting law enforcement officers. And the fact that he has a concealed carry permit is great. Guess who also has a concealed carry permit? This guy. Guess who carries a gun every day? This guy. Yeah. There is no greater proponent of the Second Amendment than yours truly. I hosted pro-Second Amendment programming back when I was in law school. I'm all about the right to keep and bear arms. Guess what I also have, Jillian, and what I recommend that my fellow Americans have more of sometimes, is a little thing called common sense. Okay? I mean, there's a thing called prudence. So, for instance, when I was meeting, I live in Florida, when I was meeting a federal judge in Miami, I won't name him, it was a private meeting, I met him and his law clerks just for lunch about a year and a half ago or so. Guess what I didn't do walking into the federal courthouse in downtown Miami? I didn't bring my gun because I didn't want U.S. Marshals there to freak out. So I left in the car or I left at home there. These two things can very easily coexist. So if you know that you're going to go out to one of these ICE Watch sponsored, very sketchy Signal chat boosted, aided and abetted so-called protests, it's not really a protest. I mean, if you're going there for the purpose of spitting in agents' faces, probably leave your gun at home. But again, to me, it's somewhat inexplicable that he wasn't arrested and put behind bars with some kind of bail this first time there, because to your point, we wouldn't have gotten to the ultimate tragic conclusion of the story. And we all should be sad that he's dead, by the way. I mean, whatever you want to think about his political beliefs there, the fact is that a young guy who has parents, he has siblings, etc., he's no longer there. And it's a tragedy that this could have easily been prevented, for sure.
Let's level with each other. I'm guessing for a lot of you, the math is not adding up lately. Between the grocery store and those skyrocketing insurance premiums, even with a steady job, more families are being forced to rely on high-interest credit cards to cover expenses. If you're a homeowner caught in that cycle, carrying balances with interest rates in the 20s or even the 30s, relief is available. Right now, mortgage rates are at a 3-year low, and my friends at American Financing are helping homeowners pay off that high interest debt at rates in the low 5s. Their salary-based mortgage consultants don't just push loans, they build exit strategies from debt. And on average, they're saving their customers $800 a month. Plus, if you start today, you may even delay the next 2 mortgage payments. There are no upfront fees or obligations to find out how much you can save. Call 866-891-4811. That's 866-891-4811 or visit americanfinancing.net/Jillian. But Josh, why are we not? So this is obstruction, right? Impeding law enforcement. Citizens are not allowed to do this, correct? Right. They are tracking ICE agents in the signal chats.
Lists of 2,900 plates of ICE agents, pictures of vehicles, and they've tracked them like 15 there, 19 there, all over the state of Minnesota. Do you not think there is something unhinged about this group?
They've got like an organized dispatch. They're keeping their license plates. They're following their cars. They're blocking them in the road. What is the law around citizens obstructing or impeding or whatever the heck? What is the law around this? And why are they not being fined? Why are they not being put in jail? Why is it allowed to get this far?
You can't do it. I mean, the very simple answer is that there's very clear federal law that you are not allowed to actively hinder or obstruct a federal law enforcement operation. I mean, there should be more prosecutions there. To be clear, we're now seeing more. We have Don Lemon and a few others who've just been arrested there. So we're starting to see
Don Lemon.
we're starting
Don Lemon.
Okay. I mean, we're starting to see more indictments there, but. Look, I mean, Jillian, my instincts are very much kind of, a put them in jail, throw away the keys kind of person when it comes to people that are spitting and getting in faces of law enforcement there. I would like to see, frankly, even more indictments, even more prosecutions than we've currently seen. But, it's not just the law. There's this whole culture that's been set there from the statewide and citywide leadership there in the Twin Cities and the state of Minnesota. They are setting a culture where it is not merely permissible. It's actually laudable to get out there and to get in these agents' face. Right. They're encouraging it. Every time that you hear Tim Walz compare ICE to the Gestapo, or talk about all these various other outrageous, hyperbolic, histrionic comparisons there, they are riling up people's passions, and they are trying to induce them to essentially become martyrs for the cause. The analogy that I drew on my show earlier this week, Jillian, was I said that this is basically the Hamas PR playbook coming to American city streets. So in the Israel-Gaza conflict, Hamas is infamous for having the most cynical PR strategy known to man, where they put all their rocket launchers and their mortars inside mosques and schools and UN facilities there because they want human shields. They want cannon fodder. They want people to die as martyrs for their evil cause. That's really not that different, I argue, to what's happening in Minneapolis there. People like Renee Good and Alex Preddy are getting riled up by demagogues. Tim Walz, Keith Ellison, these are demagogues. Right. They speak in very demagogic senses, and they're trying to rile up people to be used as Hamas-like martyrs for the allegedly greater good of trying to defund ICE or to try to get the Trump administration, however they would define it, I guess, in their own godforsaken words. So there is a culture of lawlessness. There is a lack of full enforcement of every single individual there. It's a delicate thing because if you go too hard there, you might get a reverse reaction. But ultimately, Jillian, the rule of law must be enforced because a society that does not respect the rule of law, that does not abide by the law, the rule of law ultimately, when push comes to shove, really is what separates civilization from barbarism. I believe that very firmly.
All right, guys, if you like this clip and you want to watch the full episode, click here. And if you want more content like this, you can subscribe to the show by clicking here.